who would you say right now are bands to look out for, bands that you're listening to?
So some bands I love. I've been going back to a lot of stuff I listened to growing up, and I was like a big emo kid growing up. So like Taking Back Sunday, The Used,
An emo kid?
Confessional. Yeah, like My Chemical Romance. I was the kid.
You
in
like a straight emo with like the black hair and the black clothes and all that?
I mean, that's what I loved growing up.
Interesting.
It just
Well, that's kind of what you look like. You're black hair and fair skinned.
Right, definitely. I got no tan going at all.
What a great look. Boom.
But those are a couple of them, and then I've been listening to a lot of older stuff too, like Aha. I mentioned Duran Duran earlier, but like I'm going on
80s rock.
Oh, I love 80s music, like George Michael, all this stuff that people look at you and you're like, why? I'm like, because they're really well written songs. They're so
I get in George Michael rabbit holes and 80s rock rabbit holes at work.
Well, not only that, bro.
They YouTube like old videos and stuff. So
there's something that I love about wrestling that is missing a lot in today, and the 80s had it, and which was that showmanship pageantry. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. From the way Michael Jackson dressed to the way Prince dressed to the way David Bowie dressed, you know what I'm saying? Like they just dressed like stars, and that always resonated with me. Like when I was in Mexico and I started to wrestle, I always wanted to wrestle, and look like a star, you know what I'm saying? And today you got guys going out, they look like they're gonna wash their car. I'm like, bro, really? That's how you're supposed to stand out? Like I'm not a real big fan of the. You know what I'm saying? Let's just wear a wrestling T-shirt and some shorts and look too cool to like really look like a star. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. And I love that some of the artists you mentioned, that's when I think of them, I think of how iconic they looked and how they genuinely looked like rock stars. And now you do see some people trying to emulate that when it comes to wrestling. And there are a couple bands keeping that going. Like there are a couple bands that, like we talked about Greta Van Fleet earlier, they literally look like they're right out of the 70s and they have this cool, unique essence to them. Whereas a lot of people right now, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they do look very samey and they don't stand out as much. And, I think it'd be cool to have some more unique presences within the industry.
And do you think this is a problem too? Because I know you listen to rap, right?
Yes, okay. Nothing new though. Like nothing new.
Right. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So to me, one of the problems that I see with music, because I'm a humongous music connoisseur, I used to sit for hours in the studio just watching how they came up with the beats and made the music. I was always marveled by that, and then how they put it together. But I just feel that a lot of the music today, and this is not in general, there are exceptions, especially in rap, it just all sounds the same. All has the same beat, has the same shit. Lean, hoes, the same shit, Percocets, and same thing with, it's like they talking about the same thing, the same type of beat. That's one of the things that I think that reggaeton's the same way. Do you see that or no?
Oh, no, I definitely see it, especially when you get into, like, the mumble rap genre or whatever the heck you want to call it. Like, it's just, it doesn't seem as passionate. By no means am I saying these artists are passionate about what they're doing, but it doesn't resonate with me. I want something that's going to, like, smack you in your face when you hear it, has a really sick beat, and it's something, and by no means did I relate to any of the stuff that I listen to. Like, I think about the rap I love, whether it's Notorious B.I.G. or N.W.A., like, I don't relate to that stuff, but it makes me feel, for whatever reason, empowered.
Well, first of all, you can understand what they were saying, and they were great lyricists.
100%.
Like, I went to my goddaughter's 16th year birthday party, and like every single song they were listening to was absolutely super nasty. And I was like, what is going on here? They had no message. It was just getting drunk, being on drugs, and smashing. That was basically it. And they were very explicit in what they were talking about. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. You hear it all the time. And it's just not something I care to listen to because, one, so much of it now is just auto-toned and overproduced. And it just sounds like sounds like crap. Like, put the content aside. It's just crappy music. So, yeah, I can't even say the last time I listened to, like, a new radio rap hit. It has to have been years.
Right. So through your gig, interviewing musicians and bands on your YouTube, what are some of the best concerts that you've seen in the last couple of years?
Ooh, that's so hard. Well, Steel Panther, hands down, put on some of the best shows. It is. It's a little hardcore. It's a little graphic, and the words are a little.
What do you mean a little graphic? You mean the lyrics?
I mean, the way that they write, they pretty much try to channel groups like Van Halen and Motley Crue, and they started as a cover band where they would cover essential 80s metal.
Right.
And then they realized, like, we're amazing musicians, let's start writing. So their lyrics are explicit, but they're almost like a mockery of the stuff that happened. So there's a lot of humor behind it, and it's actually extremely clever. So when you go to their shows, like, they have one song where a bunch of girls like get on stage and dance with the band, and like random chicks just go to flash, and it's like it's a very, very weird thing that most people would think I would not like, but the music is just the music's incredible.
Yeah.
They're some of the best.
But you're
musicians.
in the moment. You're in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where everybody's on the same wave. Everybody's on the same
Totally.
kick. Yeah.
Everyone goes there to have fun. People dress up like they're straight out of the 80s. You wear fishnets and leather skirts, and you have your hair up in a side ponytail. Like, you're there to have fun, and everyone there's no fighting.
Have you dressed up like that, Disco, with the side hair ponytail and the fishnets to see the Steel Panther?
The leather skirt.
This
Nothing.
fake news.
Okay, well then we wouldn't judge, right, Alicia?
Of course not.
Right. There you go. But bro, that now when you mention like some of those rock groups like Motley Crue and Van Halen, much love to them. Those guys were great.
Oh, they were amazing. When I want to listen to like some real ripping metal, those are definitely some of my go-tos.
Well, one of the biggest tours this summer, Konnan. It's Motley Crue, Poison, and Def Leppard, and Joan Jett. It's like a big stadium tour in the country. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw Joan Jett last summer, and she still sounded incredible.
Right.
And then I saw Def Leppard in Finland, actually, last summer. And, man, they sounded so good. Like, I lost my voice by the end of that concert. They were really solid. They were playing with Kiss.
What were you doing in Finland?
This company, there's a big music festival called Rockfest, and they kind of noticed what I was doing, and they liked what I was all about, and they actually hired me and flew me over to Finland to take over their social media pages and just post about Rockfest. So I was there for about a week, and it was an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I got to see one of my favorite bands ever, being Kiss. I got to meet Kiss. I've even talking about it now, it's just so surreal.
Let me tell you something about Kiss, because me and Disco met them 20 years ago, okay, when they were in WCW. And great group. I once, when I was 12 years old for Halloween, I was Ace Frehley, okay? Now, when I saw them 20 years ago, they looked super old. What did they look like now?
I mean, they have the makeup, so it's almost impossible. That's the genius of their whole gimmick. Like, with the makeup, you really can't tell how old they are. So, of course, when you're up close, you see the wrinkles and everything and the gray hairs. But when you're watching in that crowd, they sound like Kiss from 20 years ago. So,
that's cool.
Now.
You know, that's cool, because I feel bad. Like, you know how when you see some musicians when they're their age and they've lost their voice, and like the backup singers have to do most of the singing?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. And you kind of just want to tell them, like, guys, it's time to tap out and stop living that. You've had your time.
It's kind of sad, you know what I'm saying? Because they can't hit it anymore. So it's cool when you hear that these groups like Def Leppard can still do it. So what was Finland like?
It was beautiful. Everywhere you looked, the architecture was so incredibly unique. The people there were wonderful. And I was really surprised at how everyone pretty much spoke English. That really scared, as simple as that sounds, that really scared me going somewhere foreign alone. Everyone was just so kind and willing to help. And yeah, it was a really incredible place. I was able to go to Finland and Amsterdam, both for the same kind of, social media takeover influencer type deal. And both places just absolutely.
Did you go to any of the coffee houses just to make sure the weed was really weed, or no?
I don't smoke, so
or so you say.
No, I don't, and that was something everyone was like, "Oh, you got to go check this out." And one thing I didn't realize is I was researching stuff before, and I love hot chocolate. Like, that's my go-to. I don't drink coffee, and so I was Googling, like, where can you get hot chocolate there? And it's not something you can get too frequently. And usually you get hot chocolate at a coffee place. So I started hearing about these coffee houses, and I was like, sweet, I got to hit one of those up for a hot cocoa. And then when I realized what it was, I was like, oh, maybe not.
You will evolve one day on that issue, I guarantee you. But anyways, where can people find you if they want to chop it up with you?
Yes, I am very, very active on my social media pages. So if you guys just Google ALICIA ATOUT, ATOUT, hit me up, say hello, come out to any of the shows that I frequently tweet about, whether it's the indie stuff I do, conventions, the MLW tapings we have. There's a lot of incredible stuff coming up. So just search ALICIA ATOUT and I will be there.
Well, I just want to say, just to prove that she's Canadian, if you looked at her name, you would think ALICIA ATOUT, but it's actually a toot. Yeah. Well, kind of like, what's that about? But anyways, just want to say one of the.
But let's wait. Yeah. But in the States, you would pronounce it ALICIA ATOUT, right?
That's what I get all the time. I either get ATOUT, ATOUT.
But a toot is based on the fact that you Canadians think it's pronounced a boot. But it's about. Okay, so a tout needs to be a tout, not a toot, because you guys got it wrong.
I'll make sure I change my intros and sign-off going forward for you.
That's tremendous. So I want to thank you again, Alicia. I did your show. Now you did my show. We're even. I'll check you out in MLW coming up here. We're going to see each other in Atlanta. Like I said, always prepared, always professional, always enthusiastic. Big things for you in this future, no doubt. Thank you for, no dude. Thank you for being on. Keeping it 100. Boom.